Okay, this video is the next one in the cache series. Now we're going to be emplacing. As you already see, I've already dug my hole. I got one case in. I will explain the steps for getting to it. Now, first off, we got to the area that we wanted to put the cache in. We reconned the area, found spots that met our criteria. You know, it's above high water marks. There's landmarks nearby that we can use to easily find a cache. It's out of easy observation from any roadways or anything that's around us. Typically, we try to locate them inside trees, inside heavy vegetation. So we picked our landmarks. We picked some easy azimuths that we could do even in the dark. We did an intersection from those two landmarks. And this is the spot we came up with. So, we brought our stuff up. We got it set out, got it prepped. We had our little marking on the ground where the cache was going to go in at. Posted our LPOP, the person that's out on observation. Then we go through, pull out a tarp, set it on the ground, start cutting out the sod blocks from where the cache is going to be. Make the sod blocks kind of irregular. You don't want them all the same size, the exact same shape, that it's going to draw too much attention. Bring them over to the tarp, set them on there like it's a giant jigsaw puzzle. The reason you put it on the tarp is to try to cut down on the excess dirt getting left behind from the sod blocks. Now, after we did that, put out another tarp and we start filling it with our dirt about 1 foot's worth below the level of the sod blocks, give or take. What tools did we use? Primarily D-handle shovel for clearing out some of the stuff from the bottom, things that get tough to get at. An entrenching tool, and for those of you that were laughing at the Ozark Trails trifold e-tool, guess what I've been using for months? And it's gotten some pretty heavy use. I have used this as a pick, I've used it as a scoop, I've used it as a shovel, I've even put it in there, put pressure down on the blade and pried stuff out with it, and it's still going. Now, when you came across a tree root, bigger roots than the shovel can handle, mini camper's bow saw, did a video on that a few years ago. Comes in handy. Just make sure to clean it up at the end of the mission so it doesn't rust up. Sometimes the ground gets a little tough to get through. M1910 MIDI Pickmatic from the second video I've ever done, the one on tools. This, the blade on it sometimes will cut right through tree roots depending how thick they are. Just 1 or 2 hits and it's all the way through. If it's a little bit thicker, that's where this comes into play. Now, after we get that tarp over there all full of dirt, we then have more at the bottom of the hole we got to get rid of. For that, use sandbags. Dig it out, put it in sandbags, and start doing a relay. Have those sandbags taken over to a location where the dirt can be dumped and not noticed. As I said in the basics video, things like ravines, depressions, sinkholes, existing spoil or dirt piles in the area. Take it to the side of a hill, dump it down the side of the hill. Areas where there's been a washout from flooding, great place to dump the dirt, no one's going to notice. Now you get down to the depth you want. What I do, I dig down, if I'm putting 2 cases in by each other, dig down to one side to the depth I need. I then put in the heaviest case or cases in that location. Then as I dig out next to it, the final few inches from off the bottom, I take the dirt from there, put it on top of the case that I've already put in there and start packing it around the sides. You want to pack the dirt in so that way when it rains, the soil, the ground does not settle too much, leaving you a regular outline. Tamp your dirt, pack it in there. Once you get down to the depth you need here on your other side, or if you're doing two separate holes, do one hole, put your heaviest case in to start your other hole. The excess dirt from your second hole, bring it over to your first one, put it around that case, pack it in there till you get to the depth that you want. Go back, dispose of any excess dirt on your second hole. In order to get to the depth you need, we then emplace the case. Now, the one I already got in here is a C case. It's roughly 40 pounds. The next case I'm going to be putting in here, or an A case, it's roughly 40 pounds. Next one I'm going to put in is a C case. Those are 25 to 30 pounds. So, slide it over. These cases were already prepped at the homestead before they were loaded up, bagged, sucked out as much air as we could. Sometimes you will get punctures, so they do start the balloon back up. Bring the case over, get it into the hole. Camera guy will zoom in and show here. The end of your bag here, tuck it down. Case is in the hole. Now take some of the excess dirt from over here. Start feeding it across. Getting it down between the cases first. Get around the sides, the back, before you start putting over the top. Pat it in, tamp it in. Now I'm going to start taking dirt that we had piled on the side, start putting it in there. Helps to have the tarp right next to your hole, so sometimes you can just dig it off of the top down into the hole. Get in there, start feeding it around. This will always take more dirt than you realize. I've run out of dirt more than once. That's where I came up with a little technique of doing one side or one hole and then coming through, working on the other side. Not quite finish it all the way, took the excess and cover up a case inside the one or on the one side. Feed it in around the edges, tamp it in, push it in. The first cache I ever did, I did not do that. Then when it came out a few weeks later, did the check, I found the ground had sunk down a few inches, and I had a very clear outline of where the hole was. Get dirt in here, even it out some. Tamp it down with your feet. This is where making sure your cases are as full as possible really help out. So that way you don't break through the top of your case. Add more dirt where you need it. Move it around with your feet, tamp it down. Okay, now we got enough dirt in there. Now we're going to put the sod blocks in. Going to put them in the reverse order of how they were taken out. So, well, last block out was here, so that'll be the first one to go over. Don't worry about if it's a little tall right now. We can shave them down. Okay, camera guy, you can focus back on the hole and I'll just keep bringing them over. Now, if the height is too much like this, we can shave off the bottom a bit using the entrenching tool. They will go together like a giant jigsaw puzzle. First, we're going to go through, make sure all the blocks will line up. Okay, now what will happen, and I'm not going to show it, we're going to go through, take each block out one at a time, shave off the bottom so that we can make the top of the sod block level with the ground around it. Any little gap around the edges of the sod block get filled in with the dirt that we take off the bottom of the block. That's going to take a while. It's boring. I'm not going to show it on the video. We're close to 19 minutes already. So I will cut it here. I'm not going to show any markings or anything like that. Look up your own ideas. If you want to do them, if you don't want to do them, that type of thing. The next video in the series after this will probably be doing a sector sketch, which I will do that in a few days in a different location. Probably in a location I'm not going to put a cache in. But you got the idea so far. We're going to go through, level this out, camouflage it as best we can. You see there's some trees coming up out of sod blocks. Cut those off. Use a knife or something, cut those out of there. You don't want trees growing into the cache. It's going to make it a pain in the butt. Now, For all my engineer brothers in the Patriot and Militia movements, always remember, essay ons.